welcome to the Where in the Park podcast. This is Kevin, and this is a special episode. You see, last weekend, Amanda and I were at SeaWorld San Diego doing some research for our episode about the holiday time at SeaWorld, and out of pure luck, the park was having a special pin trading event with the park president in attendance. We went over there and were able to chat with him for a while, and well, we invited him to join us for an interview to talk about his career and what it takes to prepare SeaWorld for the holidays. And well, he's in our Zoom waiting room, so let's get right into it. Amanda, take it from here.
All right. Well, we are thrilled to be joined by Tyler Carter, Park President of SeaWorld San Diego. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. Excited for the fun today.
Yes, it was such a joy to meet you officially last weekend at the parks. We have seen you a number of times throughout the years, but to actually chat and talk at the Discovery Shop during the pin trading event last weekend. So thank you so much for taking the time to just spend the day with us and really got to know you and the projects that you're working on. Well, let's fill in our listeners who might not be as familiar with your background. Tell us a little bit about your amazing theme park journey and your path to becoming park president.
So theme parks have been my life since I was a teenager. So my first job out of high school was at Disneyland Resort in Anaheim. I'm also a SoCal born and raised as an operator at Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. I worked for Disney for a total of about 10 years through a variety of roles across attractions, custodial, operations training. And so, I think that was a great foundation in the world of theme parks. And Disney, I grew up to going as a kid. I also grew up going to SeaWorld, Legoland, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags, kind of the whole array, Universal Studios, can't forget them, the whole array of Southern California theme parks. And then shortly after the pandemic in 2022, I got an opportunity to come down to SeaWorld here in San Diego as the vice president of operations. And so I said, sure, why not? I'm an ops guy. I love it. So made the jump over to here and have had the most incredible last almost 4 years now. It's crazy in a month. It's 4 years that I've been down here, and I've had the opportunity to do a variety of roles. So leading the operations team, I've led our revenue team, so retail, food and beverage, and warehousing. And then in June last year, took over really everything for the park in California as the park president. So it's a lot of fun. It's like a lot of responsibility, but I think to me it's more fun. And I have an incredible team who supports really everything, whether it's on project management, construction, our zoo team, entertainment, horticulture, maintenance, HR, if I can list every department, there's so many of them, but I have an incredible team that makes my job very easy and look very easy. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, it is very clear that you love your job and your team. You were speaking highly about them when we were chatting the other day, and you feel that energy when you're having fun. We're all having fun. And so I thank you for just being your true self and just having the most fun while you're out and about and doing all these different tasks, because you're pulled in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I think, that's kind of, in my opinion, it's the only way to look at it, is you have to be willing to have fun, let your guard down, get a little crazy. Like at the end of the day, no matter what else is going on, like my job is making people have a great time at a park and helping them separate from reality. And so to me, like, how could you not have fun doing it? Sure, there's days that are rougher than others, but I think that's kind of the special magic that we get to do in this business and in this industry.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we have a number of questions for you. We could go on for 5 days with questions, but we wanted to know right off the bat, and looking back at your first 90 days as park president, what were your top priorities and how have those priorities kind of evolved over the past few years?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. When I think of the first 90 days, the simplest thing is, what the heck did I get into? But really, in reality, I think the number one thing for me was, I am now responsible for all of the people that not only visit this park, but work at this park. And so my top priority was, how do I learn the businesses I don't know? So I do not have an animal training background. So how can I spend so much time learning from our incredible zoo team about how they do what they do every day? I had spent time in passing. I understood how presentations and shows work, but getting in a wetsuit out there and doing it with them was very important for me, because I think I can only be the best advocate for my team in the park if I understand the needs of each of the roles. And so I will say, to this day, I still have not made it to every single role at this park. But I mean, there's roles like costume laundry that, again, without them, we won't have characters, we won't have shows. The ride mechanics that make the rides go every day, the marketing team, like there's so many things. And so I think my number one priority is, how do I learn and absorb as much as I can to be the best advocate, not only for the guests, but then really my team here at the park. On the reverse side, on the guest experience, is an overwhelming commitment to experience the park as a guest myself as many times as I can. So not in a way to catch anyone, but there's days where I'll just sneak into the park without anyone knowing. And I don't want a crowd, I don't want anything, because I want to live what our guests are living. That's how you find the opportunity. That's how you find the way to grow. We are far from perfect. I think anyone in any business would say that, but we have a team that's committed to making it better and better each day. And so like a phrase we use, there's two phrases we use. I'll say one is world domination. That's one of my favorite ones. But the other one that's much more realistic is, how do we get 1% better each day? And so that's what really our collective goal is how do we continue to push the needle? And so I would say the first 90 days, and all of that continues to today. You make happy ambassadors, you support the team, you empower them. They are the brilliant ones, not me. I do not know how to do every single job. I would not be successful if I did every single job. My job is, how do I remove barriers and unlock the doors from those that have that brilliant idea? And so doing that then translates into amazing experiences for guests. So first 90 days, I think I was on the right path, because it's still my top focus is how do we continue to improve both those experiences?
I love that so much. That is fantastic. And I think you led into our next question with your leadership principles and how you make decisions. And it is to tap into the expertise of your team and to be open and flexible and to be humble of, I don't know everything, and that's okay. I shouldn't know everything. I know all the different teams and where to go for the answers. And so I think that is so key for any business, but especially in a massive operation like a SeaWorld park or a theme park in general. So that is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's spot on of just, if I knew everything, we don't want Tyler World. My version of reality may not be the best in every situation. And so I think it's to your point of knowing who to ask. And it doesn't matter if it's a frontline ambassador, if it's a supervisor, if it's a manager, if it's a vice president, like whoever knows the solution. My job is to help you get there. And how do we get there? And so I think, we foster that as a team. Our whole executive team is really focused on knowing that none of us are going to be the expert in everything, but we know who to call, whether it's each other, someone else on our team, and not being afraid of that, because all of us have the same goal of making this place the best for the guests, the animals, the ambassadors, and everything in between.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. All right, so for our listeners, we are the Where in the Park podcast, and we love going into the details about theme parks and what you're going to find there. And we have Tyler on here, so we can actually ask him questions instead of just trying to look things up online. So we want to talk about the holiday program. If you guys haven't been to SeaWorld during the holidays, it is beautiful. The work that Tyler's team has been doing has really been improving the way it feels and looks in there. And we just have a few questions for him. So we're going to start off with, when does the holiday planning really begin? And what are the key milestones your team has to hit to be ready for opening night?
So it's a great question. And the simplest answer is it never ends. So, we are already deep in 2026 holiday planning right now. But, I think there's a few different ways to look at it. Obviously, the planning never stops. And while you're in and living an event is the easiest time to figure out where the opportunity for next year is. It is easier to imagine the Christmas lights and where we want more when I can see them all, not in June trying to just guess what tree had what. And so In the season, we try and do a lot of that planning for the following year because we can give live feedback. We can see what's working. We can survey our guests. We can physically go out there and talk to our guests. So I would say planning never ends, and that's with every one of our events. I'll be completely honest. Halloween just ended, but I can tell you, I've been living in Halloween of 2026 since June. So, those pieces never really end, and I think that's the amazing part of having such a large team that can focus on different things. Is for myself and a lot of my direct reports, we are touching all of the future planning of every event, but we have a point person that's maybe entertainment for Halloween, food and beverage for Halloween, and that way we can start working in a smaller team of what it is before you bring in the broader group. So that helps us keep it on pace. And then to your question from like an execution standpoint, I'll use Christmas as a specific example. We started installing Christmas lights in August to be fully done for November opening. So we didn't turn them on, but like if you pay close attention, there was like hidden little pockets of lights coming up, which was very weird for my entertainment VP and I, because Halloween hadn't launched and we're already installing Christmas. But, I think it comes down to our goal, which we do our best to achieve, is to give 100% of the experience on the first opening day. That is always the goal. We did have some unfavorable weather in November, which provided some challenges for us, but we build our timelines around how are we done a week before. That way our ambassadors and their families can experience it first, our past members can experience it, and that we, myself and my direct team, can also walk and experience it before we show it to our ambassadors, before we show it to our guests to say it's really ready. And so that's how we really handle all of our events. Christmas is just such a noticeable one because of the Christmas lights.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially this year because so many new lights were added. So I can completely understand why we need months ahead of time to start installing some of these things, because it was just gorgeous walking around the different areas of the park and seeing, okay, we didn't just, do a little bit of this tree. No, the whole tree is lit and the whole walkway of trees is lit up and in different colors. And so you have different themes and it is just fantastic. So giant shout out to your teams in putting all of that together.
Thank you. They do an incredible job. And I think, there is one other part of the Christmas business that I didn't talk about, which is the live entertainment, the shows, the presentations. And so one thing that is a commitment of my vice president of entertainment and I is we will go to every rehearsal humanly possible in advance of a show launch, because our rule is we will not give feedback once a show's open, because not fair to the team, not fair to the cast. And so we may be here all night doing a rehearsal and then all night into lights the next day. But, we want the team to be proud of the product and the collaboration as we get there. And so her and her career, me and my career, we've experienced, 3 days after you open, I don't like that piece, let's change it. Well, we've been rehearsing it for the last 2 months. Like, why now? And so we're very committed to when they're offsite doing it in some of our offsite like dance studios, we show up there to provide initial feedback. And then all of the on-site rehearsals before we're in costume, when we're in costume, one or both of us is there to make sure. I was out of town for some of it, so I FaceTimed in because, again, I have to follow our rule that we made. So it just helps, though, I think, when everyone gets to collaborate in the process, and then you give the best product for the guests right at opening.
We saw that Stocking Full of Soul show, and it was amazing. Like, I mean, I didn't realize what I was getting into, where I was like, it's going to be a show about like soul music, about Christmas. It's going to be fun. But it was like a full like rock and everything and like dancing. It was much more than I expected for it to be. It was a very great show. So I love what they did. Yeah.
Yes.
The live band is half the fun for me. The first year when we upgraded to having a live band, my poor entertainment VP, she's a trend. Her name is Kira. She's the one who gets all of my crazy antics. But we were like, what if we added this? What if we added a live band? What if we added a live singer? And I think it just continues to grow and grow. And that's then the goal as we think of future years is how do you take something someone experienced and enjoyed and continue to make it bigger and better every year?
Definitely, that brass section was rocking the whole show.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yes,
the whole team was.
It, yeah.
They were fantastic. Like I said, high energy the entire time, and we were just having a blast. So definitely, I highly recommend all the shows, but especially the stocking full of soul. That I would watch that every single time. So need more
It's hard
performances.
not to. It's hard
Right.
not. Let me tell you, all these shows, there's nights where I'm like, I'm just bouncing from show to show, and I'm like, all right, Tyler, you have to go home at some point. But it's just so much
Aw.
fun getting to see the energy and the experience. So it's so good.
Yeah, no, we were talking about it where we were hoping like this should be in a venue where everyone in the park can like just walk past it and experience this instead of being kind of tucked away in the animal actors stage where
Yeah.
you're kind of hidden. Well, it's like we said, like, it was kind of a hidden gem, which was great, but it was like, oh, it feels like this should be like rocking the whole park right now. So if there's a way to like get that for future years, get that ball rolling. That's
No,
that's our two
it's a good
cents on
point.
it.
It's a good point. Like tap into the overall like audio system, and then you're like, "Where's this live guitar coming from?" And then they like
Exactly.
feed you. No, it's a smart idea. Kira, when you see this, just know you got some work to do next year. So she'll love
Not
she'll
to
love
give
me
you
later.
not to give you too much to do. Oh no.
Right. And if it happens, you heard it here first.
That's
All
right.
right.
This is the planning session.
Yes. Um, all right. So we kind of touched on a few of our questions here, but what do you want guests to feel or remember when they leave the park for the night after a holiday event?
Oh my gosh. I think one thing that's very important to us is building the world of again like um of like an escape from reality. We want you to feel like you were transported somewhere else and that you had a day that was carefree, that you just had fun with whether it's your friends, your family, by yourself. This specific event, our Christmas celebration, is a great one for it, but that's really our philosophy with all of our events. We did concerts over the summer, and the goal was, work during the day and then like go just let it all out and just have fun in a safe environment with all your new friends. And I think that's kind of always what our goal is. Whether you're by yourself, you're here every week, you're here once, we want to make sure that you come and that you leave feeling like you just had a day that's like unforgettable with amazing experiences.
We definitely feel that when we are at the parks for sure. Um, just at any point in the year, but especially Christmas time. That's my favorite season.
Superficial. I do teeter between Halloween and Christmas. They are
Yeah.
vastly different though, but both of them have a special spot in my heart.
Yes, mine too. Hollow Scream was my very first Halloween haunt that I went into an actual haunt because I was very scared. I almost got a booty you necklace and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be brave. But yeah, so it has a special spot in my heart because that was my first one.
Glad that you made it.
I did. So yeah. Then now I'm like, okay, I can do this.
We'll get ready for next year. I might have more tricks up my Kira has more tricks up her sleeve for next year, so get ready.
How
Wonderful.
exciting.
All right. So when we met last weekend, you were really excited about the million Christmas lights around the park that are there this year. Roughly how many more lights were added this year compared to last year?
Yeah, so great question. I believe we added probably 200 to 300,000 this year, but last year we added almost a million last year. So it's a lot. I think our goal was to how do you make it bigger and better? And so obviously, as we think about 2026, we've done all of this. Now, how do I get to 2 million lights or 70 million lights or some crazy number? So, but yeah, probably about 200 to 300,000 were added this year.
Is there another theme park that you're trying to compete with right now as far as like the most lights in a park, or do you know if that exists right now?
I don't think it's attainable. Our sister park, Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they have, I would say, the most incredible Christmas. Just the way they're built for it, set up for it. I don't think I can compete with their amount of lights, but we want to be the most in Southern California. We want to be the most that anyone in San Diego sees. So I think we're doing a pretty good job so far.
Most per square foot, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I know, Kevin, you had a question about Rudolph.
All right, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Friends, they're kind of tucked away in a corner for anyone who goes to the park and kind of like skips where the penguins are. You might miss it, but they're there. They've been there for a few years, at least since 2016, as far as I can find. I was hoping maybe you can confirm when that partnership started and if they'll be returning next year.
I don't know the exact year that it started because we've done Rudolph in a variety of iterations. Sometimes with just we were playing the movie for a few years or clips of the movie. So I don't know the specific year. I will say, without committing too much to plans in 2026, is that they have been a consistent part of our plan for now, and they are a beloved favorite of our guests. So without committing too much, I think our goal is always, again, how do we take things that are working or are iconic? And again, Rudolph's an iconic brand. How do you make it bigger and better and stronger in future years? So while I'm not committing a yes, I will say people very much enjoy it. And we like to keep things around that people enjoy.
Yeah, Kevin, tell them your story of
Oh, it's
the
true.
yeah.
When we go to the parks, we often go around taking photos of all the details because again, that's kind of our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I was in kind of the corner in between the turtle reef and the penguins. It was just like this kind of walkway where not a lot was happening. I was just taking photos, and I turned around and there was this huge Bumble character and his handler walking right behind me. And it was just me and him. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know he was in the park. I was like, this is incredible. I had to go find Amanda. I'm like, Amanda, did you know that there's a Bumble walk around over here? We have a full-on Yeti wandering SeaWorld here in the holidays. It was magic. It was something that I didn't expect. And yeah, it definitely is one of those memorable moments that I took home with me.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's an interesting piece. Surprise and delight is such a thing in this industry, and there becomes fine lines of like, when do you broadcast everything and when do you have the surprise and delight moment. And so it's a game we kind of play up and down with a variety of things because I personally love surprises, but I also personally love knowing where things are. So it's how do you balance the two to make sure someone doesn't miss something. But I'm glad you got to have that special experience unexpectedly with Bumble and a pathway.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
But
definitely surprising.
and I love seeing Rudolph and any of the characters, whether they're roaming around or it's part of a special photo op. It just brings that kind of immersive experience to life, and in different ways. So I know the line was out the door for that Rudolph photo op, kids and adults, especially there's something nostalgic about that whole franchise, and it's a recurring, year after year watch. And so you have, the littles that are like, okay, I know who Rudolph is, but who are these other characters? And then the adults are like, oh man, let me tell you, this is a
Let me give you the
fantastic.
history.
Yes, exactly. So it's a way for, families to bond over the same franchise in different ways. So I love that so much. So.
Love it.
Well, what is a behind the scenes challenge that most guests would never think about or realize? And how does your team solve it?
Ooh, I wish there was only one. I think there's a variety of things. I mean, the maintenance and upkeep of a theme park. We are like a mini city. I will tell you right now, outside my door, we have asphalt being poured because we're replacing a bunch of asphalt and we're replacing concrete in the park. And I think it's, the logistics of trying to execute all of these things with the least amount of impact for the guests and the ambassadors. I think we talked about, there's a lot of concrete we're doing in the park right now. There's never a great time to do it. And so it's how do you do it in the least impactful way, knowing that the broader impact of it is going to be worth it. And so I think just the true behind the scenes piece is how do you put the entire puzzle together of construction. And we do things like power outages to fix valves and brake lines and electricity and like all of those things that are, you think of like your house, you deal with all the little things. We deal with that times every single facility, plus add thousands of animals, plus add millions of guests. I think that's probably the hardest piece that people don't always see, but it's also so much fun. My office, a few other offices here become like war rooms, and we're like slapping up all the things that have to get done, and then we're trying to figure out how it all plays together. And then obviously things happen. I'll use November as an example. We had rain. And so concrete trying to pour during rain, surprise, it doesn't work. So I think it's also the need to flip on the fly all of the time. That's interesting too, but it's so much fun.
Keeps things entertaining for sure. What is today going
Everything.
to bring?
Right? You have to be flexible, but also ready for a surprise, and that's great.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I know we were surprised by some temporary walls as we were walking around the park. Like we feel like we know our way around. It's like, oh, can't go this way this time. So you guys did have it where it was easy enough to get around, so we appreciate that. But it's you can tell that there's work going on, and we love that. We love everything about
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that people forget sometimes is this park is 61, almost 62 years old. And so there are elements of it that show its age. And so I think that's the piece that we're trying to continue to try and refresh, revamp. There's a lot of things that are behind the scenes, like air conditioning units and roofs that like no one sees, but we still have to address them. Freezer doors, like there's so many little things that add up, but it all in a way will impact the experience. So it's how do you get them all? And some walls just make it Tetris. Who doesn't like a game of Tetris while they're in a theme park?
Love a game of Tetris, wherever it is. Yeah,
That's right.
for sure. All right. So we were hoping you could settle something for us. I don't know if you've looked into this yet or not, or if you have someone who can you can ask if you don't know off the top of your head. If you can get back to us later if you don't know. The Sky Tower gets turned into a Christmas tree, right? It's kind of a tradition in San Diego. It's San Diego's Christmas tree. But if you look it up online, many sources say that it's been there since 1969, which is the year that the Sky Tower was opened. According to George Malay's biography, though, we covered him in a podcast a few months ago, where he's the guy who founded SeaWorld. There you go. Amanda's holding it if you're watching us
Yep.
on YouTube. And he states a story about how it was created based on a conversation with Doc
Lemon.
Lemon over at Magic Mountain, which they were building at the time when SeaWorld was building it with them. And Doc Lemon told him, I think it'd be really cool if we put some lights on our tower to turn it into a Christmas tree. And then George was like, that's a great idea. Let me talk to my team at SeaWorld, see if they could do that over there. And he says that they had it first done in 1972. So the question on the table is 1969 or 1972, what was the first year that SeaWorld had their tower turned into a Christmas tree?
So it's a great question, and I don't have the answer yet, but I do have the best source of truth because we do still have Charlie, one of our ambassadors that has been here since 1964 when we opened. So she was on vacation for a few days, so we are going to find out from her because she will know without a doubt. I believe, though, the 1972 is the accurate one because I don't believe it would happen on the first year of the Sky Tower opening.
That's what I was thinking. But again, like everyone has it. Like it's so weird where AI believes it, and I've never been able to find a source online that negates it. And George Millay in his book, it's like not written by him, it's written by a biographer, but when a lot of like it's an official biography though with him. And he kind of like has a thing they're saying like, hey, this is all based off memories and it's from years ago. Some dates could be wrong.
Yeah.
So right from the start, it's like, oh, I'm like, I don't know then. So
Well,
yeah, so I just thought I'd run it by you.
We also saw the 1973 interview with Roger Copeland in front of the tree that said this is a holiday tradition over the last 4 years, which would put it in the 60s. So we're like, well, it wouldn't be a holiday tradition for 4 years if it was put in the year prior. So,
So you have really
point.
reliable sources saying both things. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I don't know.
Well, hopefully our Charlie will remember because she has
Yeah,
been
here's
around
Charlie.
for all of it and more.
I love
Wonderful.
that. First-hand accounts. That's what we need.
Yes.
Love it. All right. So we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but obviously running a theme park is an all hands on deck approach and set around the shared values and goals each and every day. And the holidays just take it up to the next level, right? So how do you and your team ensure that all of the departments are in alignment every single day?
That's a great question. I will tell you it's something I think we always have opportunity to improve on, as anyone in a big business would likely say. But, I think it's just open communication, whether it's about certain things of the guest experience, certain things that are happening, certain things that are changing. It's how do you make sure that you're communicating it with everyone? And transparency is so important. obviously there are things in my role that I can't tell everyone on the planet, but what time the park opens and closes today, I'm pretty sure everyone can know. And so I think it's just building a culture around one, communication, and two, like an openness for a two-way conversation. And so a joke I tell a bunch of people is like, my door is always open unless it's closed. And like right now, my door is closed, but that's because we're talking. The second we're done, it'll be open. But I think it goes back to encouraging an environment where anyone feels comfortable asking a question to anyone. It's not about job titles. It's not about who you are, how long you've been around. It's who has the right information for what we need and what's going on. And so that is a cultural thing that's very important to all of us here, is that all of us, especially as the senior leadership team, like anyone can ask us anything. And as long as we are allowed to answer it, we will. And so I think that stems into how you get things going and communicated out in the world. There is always opportunity, though, to be better.
Yeah. Well, we definitely thank you and your team for taking the leadership and ownership of that and making, because like we said, it's all hands on deck and there's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, communication is definitely key.
Yes.
So in looking ahead to what is to come, there, like we mentioned, there's a lot of construction walls going on right now, lots of exciting things happening. Whenever we see construction walls, we're not like, oh man, that's closed. It's, oh man, what's coming up next? And we get super excited. So what can guests look forward to in the next year or two at SeaWorld San Diego?
I love it. This is your view on the walls is the same as mine. It's the best.
Yes.
So I think one of the most exciting is our shark encounter, which is currently under a major renovation right now. That is our big marquee attraction for 2026. So I can't go into much detail yet about what is going on in there. I can tell you I was all up in the site yesterday, and there is a lot of work happening in there, and we are super excited about it. But that's going to open this spring. And so I think that's going to be a very exciting thing for guests to get to experience again and kind of feel it and live it in a new way. We're really excited for our Dolphin Stadium to reopen. There's a lot of work happening there for the animal side of the experience. And so I think those are two of I would say, the big items that I can share. I will tell you just from an overall lineup perspective, we are so excited about the little things up our sleeve for next year, whether it's with Mardi Gras, Lunar New Year, Seven Seas, Summer, Viva La Musica, obviously Halloween and Christmas. I'm probably missing an event, Inside Look, Red, White, and Blue, Bands, Root, and Barbecue. I can name them all forever. We have a trick up our sleeve or multiple for every single event next year. And so I think, we're starting to roll into the 2026 calendar of sharing what's happening on the entertainment schedule, on the operating schedule. And so to guests, I'd recommend follow us at SeaWorld San Diego. Instagram will give you great updates. TikTok will give you great updates. But there's a lot of exciting things for next year. But this year's not over. There's still, I would say there's like 20-ish days left of Christmas. So through January 4th, come see our amazing Christmas lights because you don't want to miss it.
Definitely.
Great.
Highly, highly recommend. And we are so excited for that shark encounter because all of the new technology and storytelling that went into the new jellyfish experience, which if you have not experienced that, that's also another reason to go. Well, there's millions of reasons to go, but definitely check that out because it is gorgeous in there. And so, we talk all the time about storytelling and interactive environments and immersive experiences. And so we cannot wait to see what you guys have planned for that shark encounter. It's going to be fantastic.
Thank you for bringing up Jewels of the Sea. That's our pride and joy of this year. And it was a labor of love. But to your point, though, I think technology's gone in so many places and we get the great opportunity to tell incredible animal stories and incredible conservation stories and leverage multiple layers of dynamic media and signage. And when I can go in the third gallery of Jewels of the Sea, I can just sit there for hours and just be mesmerized by the video and the animals. Like it's so incredible.
Absolutely. Hands down. When you go into that third room, you're like, whoa. You do want to sit there for hours. It is gorgeous in there.
Yeah, first time I saw
LED. Yeah, the LED screens and the jellyfish. It's like this place is really up their game. I love it.
Yeah, and what was really fun was, all of the lighting in the jellyfish chrysals are tied to the storytelling of the LED, but we had to change it like 10 times because of the species of jellies and what they were looking like and how do you accentuate their features. And so it's like those little details that no one realizes. There was 30 of us in there watching every single clip and flip to see what colors worked and which ones didn't by tank. So it's all those things though that show how you can immerse guests in a different way. And obviously our core mission is telling the story of animal rescue, conservation, education. Like that's what everything comes back to, is how we tell the stories to make the world a better place. So another amazing part of my job is that is what we do for a living.
Definitely. I know you told us it's not one of our questions on the list, but you mentioned that you went on a rescue trip with SeaWorld, and that's something that I know that they've been focused on lately, and we appreciate that. We always tell everyone like, no, SeaWorld does a lot of really good work for sea life. Can you touch on that just a little bit for us?
Yeah, so our rescue team works 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You call, we answer, and it's a variety of things. It's sea lions, it's birds. Over the last 2 years, we've had two successful baby dolphin rescues, which is fairly unheard of. That we, from literal nursing month-old age, have been able to rehabilitate them, and they are thriving. So that work that happens every single day, and that's behind the scenes. No one sees what's happening. Again, turtles. We've got turtles from other places. We go get the turtles, and our goal is always how do you rehabilitate and return them to the environment. I've had the opportunity to go on returns where it's like the very emotional side of the team for the last 3, 6, 9 weeks, months, depending on the situation, have been rehabilitating these animals. Now we get to return them back to the wild to go thrive and live their life. I've also got to go on whale disentanglements, a net disentanglement, which was probably the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I tell everyone, like, I never believed there'd be a day I say that I was on the rescue boat helping disentangle a whale. Like that is not what Tyler Carter believed his life was going to be. Ride operator 15 years ago would not believe that this is where I am today. But it's just a testament to the work that our team does all year long. And so rescue is one huge element, but even the storytelling of our team here in the park to make you care about the different cetaceans and the pinnipeds and the fish and the birds and all the other wildlife. And if I missed anything that someone knows, I promise there's so many animals, but I think our team does an incredible job trying to inspire others. That's what our goal is again, make the world a better place, care for animals, care for the environment, recycle. And I think it's so special that we get to do all that and rescue. Like it's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that we loved when we were chatting with you at the Discovery Shop is, the flamingos were off exhibit. And we were like, what happened to the flamingos? What's going on? And you shared it's for their safety because of the avian flu that's going around right now. And so the fact that you definitely do care about your animals and all of the animals around the world, but those that are in your care day in and day out, and to make sure that they are protected from any diseases or anything that's going on in the world. So thank you for taking care of them, because that's definitely one of the highlights when we are at the parks. Got to say hi to the flamingos every time. And so when we rounded the corner, we're like, where's our flamingos?
Yeah,
so I'm glad that they're safe.
And I think a great piece that people don't always realize is like we have 3 full-time staff veterinarians. We have vet internship programs that are running through. We have our own hospital. We've got pathology. We've got microbiology. So like there's this whole other world that no one sees. And so, when it comes to making a decision about something, we have an incredible vet team that can help advise us on their recommendations. Because trust me, I am not the expert in that in any world, but it goes back to having a team that, we all have the same common goal of how do we take care of our animals and how do we provide a guest experience that inspires them to continue. And so we get to meld the world of both, but we all have this world of trust and open communication to where we can make the best decisions for everyone involved. So it's pretty awesome.
Love that. All right. Well, fast forward a few years, what would you love SeaWorld San Diego to be known for?
Oh, how do I pick one thing? I think really, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, I absolutely love what we do here. Our core mission of inspiring others to make a difference. And so I want us to be known for creating the next generation of people that care. It's such a special experience. And I think of any of the areas, whether it's our educators at touch pools or at the Sea Lion Point or our animal trainers that are explaining to someone why we do what we do and why it's important that they care and why when they're at La Jolla, they should not touch the sea lion. Like, I think it's so important what we're doing for the bigger picture, and caring about more than just us. And so I want us to be known for that place that's making a difference. So I think that's the very, very, very SeaWorld side. And the other place, I want people to know that this is a place you can like step away from reality and step into our world where we will leave you not only entertained, but also educated on your way to make a difference. Like there's this word that we sometimes use called edutainment. That is the goal though, is how do you make them through entertainment inspired to make a difference? Because I know I am. Let me tell you, every time I'm out there, I'm like, I learn something new every day. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to change my life. Like, what am I doing?
It definitely does inspire you to make changes like at home and just how you think about conservation. And you guys have the around the parks, you have your compost bins and your recycle, and so it's one of those things, of those subtle ways of teaching, okay, the food goes in the compost bin, and so you take that with you and you make those decisions at home as well. And so I definitely think that you guys are in the right direction, and thank you so much for providing those. I mean, even just the compostable silverware, and the food containers and all of that. I couldn't think of the name. I was like, what is this called? Yeah. But yeah, all of those things, that's a conscious decision. And so to implement those throughout the park, no lids, no straws, those are intentionally designed with conservation in mind and the protection of the animals. So I love all of those decisions that you guys make. And again, it informs us and makes us more consciously aware at home as well. So thank you so much.
Love it. Yes. We're going to change the world, all of us together.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our little podcast. Where can people find you?
Where can they find me? Well, in the park at SeaWorld, I would say is the best way to find me. I mean, I try to spend as much time in the park as I can. And obviously to keep up, I end up on our social media kind of frequently. So at SeaWorld San Diego, you'll see me there. But for sure, come on down, come check us out in the park. If you see me, say hi. If you see anyone, say hi. Hopefully they say hi back. But at a minimum, if you find me, I would love to talk and share anything about this amazing place with you.
Absolutely. And again, we cannot thank you enough. I think we were chatting with you for like 10 minutes, just kind of, one-on-one, and it was just so amazing. You don't get that in any other park where the park president's roaming around, let alone stopping to talk to you for that long. So thank you so much for being open and available and receptive and just sharing your stories and your passion. When you see Tyler for the first time, or anytime, you feel that passion immediately. So thank you so much. We thoroughly enjoy talking with you, and we hope to have many, many more conversations with you in the future.
Of course, and thanks for having me. I was so excited when you were like, come on podcast. I was like, I'm so down. This is great. But it was such a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to all the great fun that we'll share in the future.
Absolutely. The pleasure's ours.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. And also thank you to everyone who has tuned in to this episode. If you had a good time, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and all of the things. Also, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to let everyone know about all the fun we're having here at the Where in the Park podcast. Until next time, we'll see you somewhere in the park.